Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge podcast. I'm your host, Lauren.
And I am Jules. Thanks for having me, Lauren.
Yeah, what is up, everyone? I'm so excited to be recording this episode on 10 Things I Hate About You.
One of my favorite movies as a teenager, by far.
It's still so good. I watched it last night and I was like, I love this movie. I mean, it's just so good.
Yeah, as soon as you said that you wanted to do a podcast on this movie, I was like, say no more. I have to be a part of this.
Yay! And it's one of the few movies that you own, physically.
Yeah, I only own maybe I used to have, back in the day, I had this huge booklet. Remember the booklets that you'd have for CDs and DVDs?
I just bought a new one because I
had that filled and I have no idea what happened to it. Just as I got older, I would let my sister borrow it, and I had so many movies in that, but I think I have 12 DVDs now, so I have very limited amount.
Some people have nothing, so that's pretty good. I still have the book. That's what I took when I moved to California. I just literally took that book because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have cable, or at least I can watch movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing else. So I took that book and I was like, oh, cool. I just bought another one, to put all of my music. I separated my music ones out. So all the ones those DVDs you used to get with CDs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put all those. I was like, shit, I'm going to keep these because these are DVDs and maybe I want to watch it. And I bought an Oasis DVD a while ago and then a few other things. So I have my music ones separate.
Oh, nice. Very organized.
Yeah, it's somewhat organized. And the movie.
Where did you find
DVDs? Oh, Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can look it up. Yeah, they're not as good as they used to be, probably because no one orders them. They're a lot crappier, material. You can just tell, nobody orders these. So I don't even know, they're probably old. Who knows? But yeah, that's how I have all my stuff organized.
Did you ever have, a disc cleaner? And then you're like, damn, is this fucking up my CD?
Yeah, I had one or two, and yeah, I feel like they never worked.
Yeah.
It was there was a thing.
There was spray, and then you'd put it through this this whole contraption.
Yeah, that's so weird. I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, what have you been up to besides watching 10 Things I Hate About You? I haven't seen Jules in 5 months, so not physically. So
COVID has been so strange. I feel like everyone can relate to that on a certain level of just you feel busy, but you also feel like you're not accomplishing anything. Mm-hmm. And, just a lot of boredom. I've been, watching, just different movies. I've been in a scary movie phase recently.
Yeah, you made me watch Vivarium.
Yeah, for anyone who has not seen Vivarium, I highly recommend it.
Good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it came out.
Amazon.
It came out this year. I feel like no one really knew about it. When my friend told me about it, I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't know anything about it. She just said, watch it. And I did. And I ended up watching it a couple more times because it was just so good.
I definitely want to watch it again. I watched it for the first time. I finished it yesterday. So I definitely want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that it hits different once you know what's going to happen, and you can kind of pick out other little things. He's a really thoughtful director.
Yeah.
Something Finnegan.
Yeah, I feel like now I can watch for other things. Yeah. Now that I know what's going to happen. Because at first I'm just what the fuck's going to happen? How are they going to get out of this? How is this good? What's going to happen? And now that I know, I'm okay, now I'm going to see things I missed before.
Yeah.
One of my friends the other day said he watches movies several times, but never TV shows. And I was really? I was wow, that's really shocking. He was no, I just watched it once. I was wow, I literally watch things over and over again, and I feel I always see something else.
What's really interesting about that? There was an article that came out during COVID about people who rewatch TV shows or movies. It's an anxiety coping mechanism. And I was I have never felt so called out, but also so reassured.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a definitely kind of a form of comfort that it's going to happen, because right now we have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I noticed, when I was in full lockdown, I was just watching, reruns of everything. watching old movies that I loved. I actually watched 10 Things I Hate About You a couple times in lockdown.
Oh,
Those are one of the ones that it just like it always comes back. I think some people are like that maybe with like Clueless.
yeah.
But
I
10
don't
Things
watch
I Hate About
Clueless
You is
that
like
much.
that for me.
I'm trying to think of what I like what I you know what I watch like all the time, like if I'm going to sleep, or like I always put stuff on when I go to sleep. I watch, this is creepy. I watch the Scientology documentary. I've always seen it like 100,000 times. My mom thinks I'm going to join a cult. And then also I watched the documentary about that girl from Theranos, the one who had that like blood company who like scammed like all these guys out of all this money.
Oh
Like
my
she's like
gosh.
really young. It's called The Inventor, and she like was going to invent some kind of contraption to test like a really small amount of blood for all these diseases, but then it totally turned out to be a fake, and she scammed all these
Wow.
people out of all this money. She's on trial right now. But
That's insane.
yeah, so that one's really interesting because she has this weird voice and she's like obsessed with Steve Jobs. I mean, it's really strange. She drops her voice several octaves when she talks, like to people.
Oh,
It's really weird. Yeah,
I
it's
I
crazy.
love that we're kind of going into just like cult conversations because, and it'll come up later. I won't say
Yeah,
what, but
it's gonna come up.
I was watching a documentary called Holy Hell, and that was also about a cult. But the people that were in it, they were like, well, we don't want to call it a cult, but if others are going to call it a cult, at least it's a good cult. And of course, we find out it is not. But that's another good one that I've been watching.
Wow,
It's cults are fascinating.
they really are. I watched yet another documentary about Charles Manson yesterday. It's like
Some
I'll never not watch something about the Manson family.
Sometimes I wonder if I was in a cult in a previous life, just because I also just recently saw Midsummer, and
Oh, I
when I
haven't
was
seen
watching it, I was
that.
like, this wouldn't be that bad.
Maybe you were, but not a violent one. Maybe you were in like a commune or something.
Yeah, I like the idea of communes.
Yeah, it sounds
Especially with
cool.
COVID, I feel like, if I could find a Scandinavian commune with no murder or abuse, like, hell yeah, I would
Could you
join.
could you imagine like if you were living on a hippie commune right now, like you would be untouched by COVID if
Yeah.
everyone has just been living in the same place and no one outside has come in. You guys would essentially be fine.
Yeah, I'm just like live off of like food off of the land. Like that
Yeah,
sounds pretty dope. I keep
totally.
daydreaming about moving to like some just European countryside.
I sent you
And
that picture in Norway.
yeah,
That's that's where I'm going, man.
Norway, hey, I'll join you.
Totally, man. I do not mind the cold weather. You can always light a fire, put on some sweaters. I don't want to be sweating. It's been so hot this summer. It's just like, no, I can't
even
go. Heat.
even when it rains, I mean, and granted, we're on the East Coast, we're in DC, so it just is so muggy and rainy, and it's still hot when it's raining.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't get away
gross.
from it.
Yeah, it's so gross. But let's get into the film. So let me hear your first thoughts. Like, when did you first see it? What's your history with this film?
Okay, so the first time I saw it, I think I was like 14. I think I was like right in like the beginning of high school. So, and I again, this is usually my thing where like I see these movies much later when they come out.
Yeah, that's cool.
And yeah, and like I just remember the opening credits where like bare naked ladies are playing, and then it just cuts to Joan Jett, and she's in the car. Julia Stiles, correct?
Uh
Am
huh.
I saying her name? Yeah. Just that opening scene, I was like, okay, I like this. And
I literally have that in my notes. Bad
yeah,
reputation immediately identified with Cat.
yes, I immediately identified with her. I felt pissed off at everyone like that I was in school with. Like I just like had a bad attitude about everything, and equally hated myself as much as I thought I was better than everyone else.
Such a good description. That's like literally exactly the same.
Yeah, and and that was just like uh, just the feeling of being a misunderstood teenager and, uh, the dream of someone like Heath Ledger, this bad boy wanting to,
God, I
you
can't
know,
talk about you.
uh, just like sweep you off your feet. Like, why is this person, so interested in me? Like, that's kind of a dream for so many girls.
Yeah,
And,
totally.
yeah, and so it just it was to me just like the perfect teenage movie. There was, and like what I also loved about it was like it's based off of Shakespeare, and
I
I love
know.
interpretations like that. Like She's the Man was very similar. It was another like modern Shakespeare movie,
That
and
movie's actually pretty good. Like,
yeah.
I have to say, She's the Man is like an underrated 2000s classic.
Oh yeah, the comedy is so good.
She's great though. I love Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, me too.
I hope
But
she comes back.
I hope she does all right. I've been like I was watching her Instagram for a while, and I was worried. I was more worried about Amanda Bynes than Britney Spears.
Yeah, and I think Amanda Bynes was like gonna get engaged, and I think she's with this guy, and I think her like either her parents or someone like tried to stop it, like almost like a Britney thing.
Yeah, well,
Like
she has
like
a conservatorship as
oh,
well.
she does. Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense then.
But yeah, 10 Things I Hate About You was truly just the epitome of like how I felt as a high schooler. And, I don't think that'll ever change.
No, totally. I don't think it'll change for me
Yeah.
either.
What about you? What's your story?
Okay, well, I'm in the next decade from Jules. I saw this in the theater, and I was 16 when it came out. And yeah, I just remember seeing it in theater and be like, "Oh my god, I love this movie!" I really loved all of the Shakespeare remakes that were coming out at the time. So like, I was really into Shakespeare. Like Romeo and Juliet came out 3 years before.
Yes.
I was obsessed with Romeo and Juliet, like the Leonardo DiCaprio one.
Yeah,
And
that's so good.
yeah, it was so good. So there were just so many. I have a list of like there were so many remakes in the late 90s and mid 90s of Shakespeare. Like there was O, which came out in like 2001, but also has Julia Stiles and Andrew Keegan in it. Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare in Love, My Own Private Idaho. Also had bits of like Henry V, I think.
Oh, cool.
That was like
I
big.
had no idea.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream, like Christian Bale's in that. That was like
Mhm.
95, I think. Like Callista Flockhart, a few people. There was a Hamlet with Kenneth Branagh, like the mid 90s. There were a whole lot of like Shakespeare, like reinterpretation. So that was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's. So I just immediately was like, oh cool. I never read The Taming of the Shrew that it's based on, but
Yeah,
have you?
I never did either, but I knew the storyline, and
Yeah,
that's
same.
and then when I watched 10 Things I Hate About You, I was like, okay, I don't need to read it.
Mhm. I mean, I probably should now that I'm older. I'll probably like get it a lot more. But yeah, definitely when I saw it, I was like, I don't care. This movie is so amazing. I don't need Heath Ledger, I'd actually seen before. I used to watch the show called Roar that he had one season of on Fox, and he was really blonde and he was super young. It was like 2 years before this, so I knew him. Like I knew of him, but this definitely was like his beginning into Hollywood. And
Mhm.
the documentary they did called I Am Heath. I don't know if I think you've seen it. I saw it a long time ago, or like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was like on YouTube a while ago.
Yeah, it
That's where
was.
I watched it.
Yeah, and it was, and they discussed this film and how he like people. I think they wanted him to try out for Cameron's role because he just wasn't that known, and they were like, "We need someone big to be Patrick. Like it's the lead." And he was like, "I want to do it." And his agents were like, come on, it's the lead. Like you don't, no one knows you. Like this is, you can try out for it, but this is going to be a huge stretch." And he's like, "No, I want to do it. I want to do Patrick, or I don't want to do it at all. Like I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the lead." And like, boom. I mean,
Oh.
you kind of see how he was literally born to do this. Like there's kind of no other thing he could have done. So yeah, I think it's so cool that this was his very first big Hollywood movie and he's the lead and he's just so incredible in it. I mean, even just watching it now and knowing what I know of his acting ability, just all of the subtleness that he brings to that role is just so much more mature than everything in
Yeah.
the film. Like you can tell like this kid's an actor. Not
Yeah.
that anyone else isn't, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt also has done like incredible films after this. Like he didn't want to do this either. He wanted to do more Sundance because he just come off of Third Rock from the Sun.
Hmm.
So he was like, I want to do more independent stuff. But then he was like, okay, fine, like I'll do it. Like kind of like begrudgingly did it. And then of course he went on later to do incredible independent films too. He's also an incredible actor too. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's pretty
This was like my first introduction to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Because I like knew that he was in Third Rock from the Sun, but I didn't really watch a whole much of that. And like when I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this, like I loved his character. I thought he was just like the sweetest like guy, and I was like always just so upset when like Bianca just like was just kind of stringing him along. I was like, come on, like see what's in front of you.
That's what I have that in my plot points and story questions is like why I was like why is she with kind of still like entertaining Joey but she likes Cameron? Like why are you bothering with Joey?
Yeah, social pressures.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so for behind the scenes, I just have the director. I guess it's Gil or it could be Jill. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's probably Gil because it's a guy. Gil Younger. He also did a lot of TV in the 90s. Like did a lot of TV episodes. He directed Blossom, which is some of like my favorite sitcoms. Have you ever seen Blossom?
No, but I want to see it now.
My God. Blossom is the quintessential like teenage girl, like almost like weird girls sitcom.
Oh,
like
I love it. How have I never heard of it?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's the girl now who plays Blossom. I think she's in Big Bang Theory or one of those, like, it's one of those sitcoms that's like really big. I think it's Big Bang Theory. And she was just this really cool teenager and she lived with her dad. Her dad was a single dad. And her mom was like an opera singer and like left the family and moved to Paris.
Wow.
And then her older brother was Joey Lawrence. Like, Joey Lawrence? Like, yeah. And that's where he got like his big heartthrob status because he had this tagline where he was like, whoa, like every time anything happened. And he was like this like super hot dude. Like he dressed kind of grungy. Like he wore like leather jackets and like flannels tied around his waist and like ripped jeans. And then she had an even older brother who was just coming back from drug rehab. So, and he was just moved back into the family. So it was like the all the guys and she was the only woman in the house. And then she had this best friend who lived like down the street named Six. And she wore the coolest fucking 90s clothes. Like you would still wear them now. She wore like crazy outfits and hats and she was just kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to check it out.
Yeah, I have it on DVD because they made seasons 1 and 2 on DVD, but they didn't make I think 3 and 4, but totally. I can find it online, I'm sure.
Okay, cool.
It's really cool. I think you'll like it. So behind the scenes notes, I just have that it was filmed in Seattle and Tacoma, like the whole area, which is so cool. That fucking high school, like what the hell? It's a real high school. The budget was $16 million, which was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And I heard that $500,000 of that was used just to stage Letters to Cleo being on that roof in the end.
Wow.
And my question, I mean, I guess we could just say it now, is since you're in a band and a musician, would you ever play up there?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you don't have a problem with heights.
Absolutely. I would totally play it. But the only difference is I feel like a lot of bands would play that for a whole lot less.
Oh no, that's how much it cost. They didn't get paid that much. That's how much it cost to like set that up.
Wow,
like
no
the
way.
Helicopter. Yeah, probably the helicopter to bring all the equipment up there. I mean, I don't know how, yeah, and I think it was like the people were like, I don't know about this. This is kind of crazy. And he was like, no, I want to do it.
I would 100, just as a band member, I would absolutely do that.
Right?
It would just for the experience. Like, I don't care how high up it is. That would just be so much fun.
It would be so cool. I was like, man, I wonder if Jules would do this. Or play prom.
Or play,
would you
maybe.
play a prom?
Maybe.
Ooh, maybe. Okay.
It would have to be a really cool ass prom.
Yeah, it definitely would.
It couldn't just be any school.
It would be cool if they asked you to play. I feel like the school would be cool if like all the kids got together and like were like, yeah, we want Denmate to play. I feel like that'd be a cool school. It wouldn't be any lamos in there.
The only people who would know me would be like the Julia Stiles of the school.
I love how she just like listen to the coolest music, and I will get into like why they were all in clubs and drinking beer in another. Because it's like, okay, how is he drinking a beer in this pool hall? He's like 40 or like 45, but in high school. Okay, so Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles dated a little bit, apparently.
No way. Wait,
Yeah,
this is news to me.
oh yeah. This is according to E. I mean, I read this on E, so whatever. They said that a few co-stars did a 20th anniversary, and they talked about how they dated for a little while. I don't think it was anything serious, but I think it was probably just like at the time, they were
Yeah.
all really young. And
I've always been like curious about just because like I don't know anything about, celebrity life, PR works. Like I've always been curious if there are times when movies come out, if the PR agents are like, okay, you guys are going to publicly date for 3 months or something like that. Like, I wonder if that's a thing, or if it's just true. Like if you're with them that long, like on a set and that close, and like, having, acting feelings for each other, if it really does become real.
Both of those are a yes.
Yeah.
Like, they both, I think, naturally form relationships, and I think definitely publicists are like, I'm trying to think of, okay, I mean, not to get too off topic, I never believed Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens dated, and they literally dated throughout all of High School Musical. Like, isn't that what they were promoting?
Yeah.
That was like their thing. I don't know how long they went out after, like when the movies were gone or TV show or whatever it was. I just feel like that never seemed that real. He dated someone else after that, and then I was like, okay, that seems like they're really dating. But I feel like that was just way too convenient that they were dating like throughout the whole time that they were like this huge phenomenon was going. Same with
Disney Channel fans, give us your info.
Yeah, no, hit us up about if you're like a Disney Channel person. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all. But yeah, that definitely happened a long time ago. I'm sure it does now. We just don't,
Yeah.
I guess don't know about it as much. Who knows?
I was wondering that about Stranger Things, but I really do want to hope that was real.
They're my favorite. They're my little Johnny and Winona.
I know, they're so cute.
I love them, and I haven't seen them in forever because they're all like stuck in Atlanta because they're filming season 4 right now. So they're all waiting to get the green light to go back to film. So I mean, we haven't seen any like pictures of them out and about. But I heard that saw an interview with her the other day. She was like, "Yeah, we all live in a house together. Oh. We've all been like quarantining." I was like, "Oh God, please either get married or like nothing crazy happen. Like your relationship grows and you don't break up because you've been spending all this time together and you just like don't want to." But Ledger and Stiles dated. Kirsten Smith and Karen Lutz, they were the screenwriters of the film. They actually went on to write Legally Blonde and a few other things. And they kind of did this in kind of a relation to Clueless. Like they saw how well Clueless did, where they adapted Jane Austen's Emma. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to make it kind of the same vibe, like young, high school, hip. So that's what they did. Josh Hartnett and Ashton Kutcher were in the running for Patrick Verona, which I definitely can see Josh Hartnett, because Josh Hartnett was in O, the movie about Othello with Julia Stiles. I love Josh Hartnett. I'm going to be reviewing The Faculty with my friend. I'm really excited about that. I
feel like Ashton Kutcher just would have been too much of a goofball. Like everyone just sees him at, like, I to this day just still see him as Kelso,
I never watched that 70s show.
I remember that was like always on when I was a kid. That was always on, like, after like, Simpsons and Friends.
Yeah, it was
Seinfeld,
on like 7 o'clock or something.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I don't dislike Ashton Kutcher, but I definitely like. I'm just so glad Heath Ledger got this part. This is just truly all him and his beautiful, beautiful long hair.
It's so good. And they said Heath was a mystery even on set and even to everyone. Like, he just had that kind of man of mystery that Patrick, the role, had. Like, they were thinking, like, how can we have this guy who looks like a badass, but still in high school, but still charming at the same time? So he definitely put all of that together. And they said that he even directed what costume he wanted to wear for the famous scene where he's jumping down the stairs and singing to her. Like, he was like, I want a fitted white shirt. I want this specific kind of jacket, like a blue jacket. Like, he actually was very involved in what he wanted to wear to do this whole the scene. So you could tell, like, just immediately being on set, like, wow, this kid is next level. You know,
I'm
he's
holding my heart right now.
I know, right? I was like, oh god. And then Julia Stiles at the end when she reads the sonnet that they have to write, like the famous sonnet.
Oh my gosh.
She read that in one take, and the tears were not planned. Like that just happened. So yeah, isn't
Wow.
that crazy? And then also I just have like a really sad note that they all the cast got together for the 10-year anniversary and Heath wasn't there. He died like the year before. So can you believe that he died 9 years after this film?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah, and he did so much. Like he did so much in those 9 years. Like to think that his film career was less than 10 years and like what he did, you know, it's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, that was sad.
Rest
Sad.
in peace.
I know. Oh God, I love him so much.
Me too.
So yeah, do you have any behind the scenes notes?
I don't have any behind the scenes notes, but
You want to talk about Andrew Keegan? Let's talk about Andrew
yeah,
Keegan.
that's a great one. That's a great behind the scenes note. When Lauren told me that she wanted to do a podcast on 10 things, she told you told me about that you wanted to do this podcast, and so I was like online and I read about Andrew Keegan's cult.
Yeah.
And I texted Lauren. I said, Andrew Keegan has a cult. And she said, welcome to, reality. Like, where have you been?
Yeah, I literally was like, where have you been, girl? It's like 2014, I think he started it.
I had no idea. And I always thought Andrew Keegan was such a cutie, like back in his day.
Oh God, me too.
I thought he was so cute. And he kind of plays the perfect asshole, just like teenage asshole, but like I also like have a soft spot for that.
I definitely love Joey Donner's character.
Yeah, and when you told me that he had a cult, I had to look into it. It's called what? Full Circle.
Full Circle.
And I was just shocked. Like I still don't fully understand like what their values are, if it's still happening. Like, okay, what is the deal?
Yeah, let me read this little bit from Wikipedia. So who the fuck knows if this is true? But here we go. It says, in 2014, Keegan founded Full Circle, a community spiritual center based in Venice, Los Angeles. Vice characterized the organization as a new religion, while other outlets call it a cult. In an interview, Keegan described the group as a non-denominational spiritual community center where people of all beliefs and backgrounds come together to meditate, practice yoga, and engage artistically. New York Magazine reported in 2015 that the actual theology of the group is tough to pin down, but seems to loosely follow Hinduism, or at least Russell Brand's Sanskrit tattoo version of it. That's the quote. In May 2015, the Full Circle Temple was raided by California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control officers. The raid was apparently related to Full Circle's distribution of kombucha, a fermented beverage made from sweet black tea. A spokesperson for the temple stated that they were unaware they needed a license to distribute kombucha. The organization closed in 2017.
Okay, so it's closed now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah. So it just seemed like it was a meditation kind of temple, I guess.
Yeah, going back to cults, this is what we were talking about in the beginning. Andrew Keegan. I feel like he would be a good cult leader. He seems very charming. Granted, I do not know this person in real life.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like I said earlier, I think I would have been in a cult in a previous life, so why not? If it was still happening, maybe I'd try it. Who knows?
I mean, Jared Leto kind of sort of runs a cult. Have you seen like the immense popularity that 30 Seconds to Mars has? I don't know if you've seen like the immense influence that band has on the people that like that band.
I've met like fans of 30 Seconds to Mars that are like very, very into it, but
intense.
I could see Jared Leto being kind of a powerful / maybe even creepy, dangerous cult
Mhm.
leader.
He
But
actually has like summer camps in like Croatia where you go and spend money and go there. Like it's a thing.
I
Like it's a
do.
little thing.
I also do feel like, like musicians, actors, like there is a, point, like you see other cult leaders who have wanted to, be a part of like music and entertainment, like even like
Manson.
Charles Manson.
Mhm.
If you see Holy Hell, I can't think of the person's name, but they wanted to be an actor, a dancer, like, um, there's this like quality, and I think it's this like narcissism
Oh yeah.
that can create this cult leader. So I'm not surprised by you saying that about Jared Leto, because I could see that. But it's just really creepy because you don't know how these people, they have so much power and influence. Like it makes me
Mhm.
nervous as to how they, influence people. And, that's something that we see now today with, with celebrities and musicians. Like they have a lot of influence, and I think that's why people are starting to see, people really wanting um, to see that the people that they're idolizing are good people,
Yeah.
because they have so much power, and I think people don't want to see bad people with power.
It's just I feel like being a child of like I guess growing up in the mid 90s to like I guess early 2000s or like the 90s as a decade, I wasn't spoiled by um I guess it's either a blessing and a curse, I guess, because I just didn't know, but I was never spoiled by finding out that one of my idols is like a fucking sexual predator, which I feel like is happening so much now because I mean, we just didn't know that we didn't know that much. Either we didn't know that much about people or it just didn't come out or they didn't do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what the reason,
Yeah.
but I feel like now like me and Jules were talking about the collapse of and like implosion of Burger Records, which I never would have seen coming, where it just was like almost like a breeding ground, it seems like, for
Mm-hmm.
allegedly all of this like behavior that went down with all these different bands. But like back in the day, I know there was I don't even remember if there was anyone that in like a big band or like a relatively big band that was like called out for sexual assault or anything like that. The only one I can think of is like, well, not sexual assault, but like Tommy Lee. That didn't do anything
Yeah.
in his career. He went to jail. I mean, but that was weird too. The fact that Tommy Lee like got in so much trouble with like domestic abuse, and his wife was famous, and
Mm-hmm.
it's still, I mean, he's still Tommy Lee. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Oh,
the
and
same
I
with Chris
feel
Brown and like all those other people. I mean, people do get caught, and I guess they still are out and about.
Yeah, and I feel like there is like, just what we want from, you know, uh idols. And I think this is like the first part, is like we need to stop like idolizing people all the
Mhm.
time. Um but I do think there is like this sense of, with social media, like we can see what people are doing, and we almost get this, insight to their lives
Yeah.
through social media, and that's a new thing. And I think we're gonna see people evolve, and like we're still in such like infant stages of like where social media is going to go. Like it's crazy to think that it's only truly been around for like a little over a decade. That's like
Yeah.
such a small period of time. So I really hope, like we get to see, just like an evolution of, how we interact you know, with these like celebrities. So like, uh, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I was trying to put it back to Andrew Keegan, but
Oh
uh,
God, if only Andrew
my
Keegan had an Instagram back in the day, it would be like DMs flooding those DMs, man. It was like he was such a babe. I mean, he
yeah.
still is. He still looks pretty good. I also remember him when he was on Seventh Heaven because I every time he was on TV, I like found out about it because it was in like the Teen Beat magazine. So it would be like Andrew Keegan's going to be on Step by Step on TGIF on Friday, and I'm like, tape it. So I would like tape it, and he was like just a guest star and like all these random sitcoms. But he was in Seventh Heaven, and he dated like one of the girls in the show, and he had a child, and that was like his storyline was that he was like
You
a
know
teen
what? I
father.
remember that. I
Yeah.
think I remember that. Yeah. Let's do some plot points.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get into the plot points. So, first plot is I love the credits, like just the way it's all like colored pencil and like
Yeah.
animated and stuff, and you see Seattle, and I just wrote bare naked ladies, LOL. That
Yeah,
fucking song, man.
I think that's a really funny funny way to start the movie. But Bare Naked Ladies was also just like that was such a key point in that period of time. Like they were a huge they were playing everywhere. Like you would hear them in the grocery store.
Yeah, massive, especially that 1 week song. And
Yep.
then, like we said earlier, I love it. You see like the one car of the girls, and they're singing to like Bare Naked Ladies, and then Kat just pulls up in her like super 60s, like I forget what car. I don't think it's a Valiant. I forget what car that is, but she like pulls up, and then it's just like it's just Joan Jett blasting, and she just looks over like, oh god. I was like, yes, I already love this. Like,
yeah. That's like probably one of the best opening scenes of a movie.
Yeah, it totally is.
In mine. Another highlight that I this would also go in like favorite scenes.
Yeah, I have so many.
But just like plot points that I think is really interesting that like we don't okay, so the teacher, let me get her name, Mrs. Perky. Ms.
Oh
Perky.
yeah, the guy.
One of my favorite plot points is throughout the movie when you go see her, she is writing erotica.
Yeah.
She's writing this erotic novel, and it is so funny. And like to me, those like little points where she comes in, like it just makes it for me. I think it's so funny.
It's so funny. I love how she writes it like in between all of the people coming in. Like I love when I just wrote like, oh baby Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he looks so cute. He's so young. And he's in her office, yeah, and you see like all the people coming in, like he comes in, and then like Jules Stiles, or I'll stick to characters. Kat comes in, like every time they all get in trouble, and she's still writing like the same book.
One line that she has that I just like I die every time is, "What's another word for engorged?"
I know.
It's so good. I think, and Allison Jenny, who plays Miss Perky, I love her. Anything I've seen her in, she's just so on point.
Have you seen her in I, Tonya?
She plays the mom in I, Tonya, right? Yes.
Oh
yes.
god, so good. She won the Oscar for that. It was so good. And this is also the first time we see Patrick when he comes in her office. And like and he just walks in, and then she's just like, oh great, like you're here again, and he's like, yeah, only so we can have these moments together. Should I hit the lights? And then she's like, oh yeah, very charming kangaroo boy, or something like that. I was like, oh my god, so funny. And then we meet the AV geek Michael, who is going to be Cameron's like school guide around the school, played by David Krumholtz, who's really funny too. And I love in almost every teen film there's like a click breakdown.
Yes, click breakdown.
I love the click
breakdowns. We see it in like Mean Girls. We see it, but other
Clueless.
Even in what's the movie with the witches?
Oh, The Craft.
The Craft, wasn't there a click breakdown in The Craft?
No, but there wasn't a click breakdown, but I think that's when like Sarah's sitting there, and then like Skeet Ulrich like comes up to her, and there's like, those are witches. Yeah, like those girls over there, like don't talk to them. Well, but I don't think that everything else is just like they're in Catholic school, so you can't really tell.
The click breakdown that Michael does is so great, and he's also just such a wholesome character.
Yeah, he's really funny.
He's so funny, and you know, he's just so ahead of his time around like all of these dumbass teenagers. And I really love that for him. Like another scene with Michael where they're like getting ready for the party, and he's like wearing this like 70s collared shirt, and like just totally like so out of the know of like a teenage party. And I just thought that was just so cute. And so you know, Cameron just following his lead, but you know, all he really wants is to just do whatever he needs to do to get to Bianca.
Yeah,
and win her over. And
yeah.
it's so cute. Just Cameron and Michael's friendship. I feel like I've seen like, you know, other boys like that in high school. It's a very true clique.
It totally is. Like it's a strong like two-person clique. Like
Mhm.
there's definitely I love how when Cameron first like when he first introduces himself to Cameron and he's like, "Oh, good." Usually they send up one of those like audio visual geeks and this guy comes in with like a projector and he's like, "Michael, where should we put this?" He's like, "Michael." Like he's just like, "What are you talking about?" And then just totally like leaves him and the guy's like,
Yeah.
"What?" That's a totally baby guy. My favorite clique is the coffee drinkers where he's like, those are the coffee guys. Try not to bump into them. They're really edgy. And they're like, that was Costa Rican, butthead. Like, that's me. I'm totally. I'm like, where'd they get this coffee? Oh, I forgot they're in Seattle. So they would have the coffee.
Another character that I love is Mr. Morgan. I think
the teacher.
I think he is just so fiery and always has like a great comeback.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
And then also like when they're in that English class when you first meet him and he's like and then Kat totally is like way ahead of her time, like feminist icon.
Mhm.
And like Patrick comes in late and then he's like, "Oh, did I miss anything?" And she's like, "Oh, you know, just the patriarchal values that dictate our education."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Great," and then he like walks out. Okay, cool, and then just leaves. And then she like back talks the teacher, and then he's like, "Get out of here, go to the office." So she goes to the guidance counselor, and essentially the guidance counselor like tells her like, "Don't be such a bitch." Like,
Yeah.
like everyone just calls you a heinous bitch around school. Like I was like, "What?"
Heinous bitch.
Yeah,
I like
heinous
it.
bitch. Yeah, is what they usually refer to you. And then she like gives her all these like SAT words to like fill in her. And she's like, "I'll let you get back to Reginald's quivering member."
Yes,
Like,
Reginald's quivering member.
oh, I like that. That's good. And then you go, okay, I wrote Joey Donner. I loved him as a teen. Then we go outside and we see that Michael, which is strange, that Michael is an AV geek but has a dirt bike. Like, how is he late? He has a fucking motorcycle. That's really cool in high school. Like, it's a legit motorcycle. It's not like a moped. It's like a
Yeah.
real motorbike.
I also, what's really funny about this movie to me is like everyone drives, and I know some students definitely like wanted to get their license as soon as possible. But for me, I did not get mine until like way later.
What do you mean? How old were you?
I was about like 18, 19 when I got mine.
Oh, you were out of high school?
I was out of high school once I got mine. So like my entire high school experience, like I just, you know, if my friends could drive, I would drive with them. And so like just like anytime I see like high schoolers with cars, I'm like, dang, like I do not relate.
Oh wow. I had a countdown when I turned 15 to like the month period. I think actually could have gotten my permit at 15. Took the written, got that permit. 16, I was fucking wheels on the road. On the fucking
freedom.
road. Yeah, total freedom. My grandma's 1981 Toyota Corona hatchback. We were riding. It was cool. Like the car. Her name was Sally. She was cool. Had like velour seats. And I had a hatchback, and like two friends I knew were like, "I know this older guy, and like he has a guitar, and like could you transport some of his stuff like to this house party?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Cool." I was like the cool one that didn't have a station wagon but had like a hatchback.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool. And, like they're like, "Yeah, drive us this party and like help us bring these guitars and amps and stuff." And I was like, "I'm so cool. I'm like a groupie." But yeah, no, I definitely was driving. I'm really jealous of Kat's car. She had like this dope vintage car. I'm sure someone who knows cars probably knows exactly what it was.
Another part that I like absolutely love is when Kat gets mad at Joey for parking in that spot and she just hits his car. Yeah. And I was like, honestly, this is one of the reasons why I shouldn't have had a car at that age, because I would have done that.
I know, it's so funny. Like, what is it, asshole day? Just like, and she's like, "Can you move the car?" He's like, "No." And just like walks in. I would totally do that too.
Yeah.
And then I love how after like he has that crazy accident on the dirt bike, Michael does. He actually calls Kat the shrew, which I think is funny. We
Yeah.
actually hear that. And then you meet the dad, who I love their dad, Kat and Bianca's dad.
Oh my gosh, Walter Stratford.
It's so good.
I love his like undying fear of them being pregnant.
I know.
Just teenage pregnancy is his full fear. And I'm like, honestly, Walter, if I were you, that would be my fear too.
I don't even want to think about if I had a teenage daughter or son even. I don't even know what
a teenage son would be scarier, honestly.
Yeah, I know. Because it'd be like, I was just talking this with my friend the other day. She was like, do you think it'd be easier to have a boy or a girl? I was like, I feel like a girl just because I know. Like, I mean, I can put myself in their shoes, but a guy, like, how do you ride the fine line of like, okay, be really respectful, but like don't let people walk all over you. Be really nice to women. Like you have to like there are all these like nuances that you kind of have to like give them.
I would like become a like a family cult leader and be like, there's an evil inside of you.
Yeah.
We must
get it out now.
We must get it out.
Yeah, I mean, ideally it would have to do with the partner that you choose to have a child with. If you have a partner in your life like that you're gonna have raising the kid, I guess it would make things a bit easier if you had like a male figure for them to like, I guess teach them certain things that some women just don't know.
One thing I really do love about Walter Stratford though is like he truly is like providing them such like a great place. Like they're super privileged.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love his strictness, even though like it is annoying to the girls. Like it does show like the love because like Kat and Bianca's mom died. They never really like.
No, she left. She left. Yeah, which is really rare.
When they say like she left, I thought they were like saying like she.
No. Hey, okay, we're back. We were talking about, let's see, we just met the dad at their house, and then we find out that the rule is because Bianca wants to date, I guess she wants to date Cameron, which is really strange. Joey has that bet going. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Joey has the bet with his friends. Yeah, that he's like, oh, I can bag Bianca. And they're like, no, you can't. And so he asked her out. And then she's like, oh, no, I have to like, I can't date unless my sister does. And he's like, okay, I'll take care of it. Like I'll find someone to date, someone to date her. Mm-hmm. And then we find out that Cameron is like, he's like tutoring her. He's like tutoring Bianca because he wants to get next to her. And then she's like, hey, he's like, oh yeah, I want to go out with you. And she's like, wait, I can date when my sister does. I'm like, wait, so who are you going out with? Why wouldn't you just tell Joey, like, fuck off?
At first I thought she was saying that because like I don't think she really knew if she wanted to date Cameron just yet, but she could definitely tell that he liked her. Mm-hmm. And she really wants to like go to, a party that Joey's going to be at. And I think, Buggy's party. I feel like that's when she really starts to see Cameron differently. I think at first it was more to, because she felt special with Joey's attention.
That's true.
Yeah. But then I think she quickly switches her, her feelings towards Cameron.
Yeah, totally. And then we find out, okay, so they got to find a guy to date Kat, and she's like apparently like the worst girl ever because she doesn't want to date any of these like assholes in high school, which of course makes her terrible, and there's something wrong with her, of course. And then, of course. And then also, which I find really funny, is that she wants to go to Sarah Lawrence, which is like on the other side of the country in New York. And her dad's like, no, you can't go to Sarah Lawrence. You're going to go to like Washington State. And she's like, she's very, very headstrong in the fact that she wants to do what no one expects her to. And she really wants to like forge her own path. And she mentions it several times. Like she mentions it in English class. She mentions it at home. She tells her sister, like, you don't have to be what they want you to be or what they expect you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just being conformist, like you don't have to be like that. But then she's like, oh, I happen to like being adored. Thank you. So she's like, okay, fine. She's like,
So
I'm
many
just
quotable
telling
moments in
you.
this
I
movie.
know so many. I have a whole bunch of quotes. And then so yeah, they're like, I love how like Michael and Cameron are like, okay, we've got to find a guy that's gonna date Kat. We need someone who like doesn't scare easily. And they interview like those guys, and they're just like, ah! They like scream at the mention of her name.
One of my favorite moments when Cameron is talking to Patrick. He's obviously a little intimidated. He's like playing. What was he? They were like at the bar, and oh my god, why can't I think billiards?
Yeah,
And
the pool hall.
Yeah, the pool hall. And Cameron goes, she likes pretty boys. And says, what, you don't think I'm pretty?
No, he's very pretty.
You're very pretty.
Guy. You're a gorgeous guy. It was like you would all bang him. Every guy and every girl on the set would bang him. Like, let's be real. Like, it's so funny. And I have like to go back to like when they're deciding on Patrick, and then Michael's like gonna go up to Joey and kind of like get Joey to do it because they're gonna do it like backhand so that like they don't really know that Cameron's involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael goes up to Joey in the lunchroom, and why is Joey drawing boobs on a lunch tray? How old are you, dude?
That's like, those are just like highlights of Joey's character that I just cannot stand. It's just like Joey being the ultimate like just high school douchebag.
Yeah.
They're just showing his immaturity just through like the smallest little things like that. And yeah, it's
just way immature. You're like, what, 17? You've had sex. Why are you drawing boobs on a fucking lunch tray? And then the way he's drawing it, and he's like, yeah.
And then he draws the dick on Michael's face.
And apparently David Krumholtz had to show Andrew Keegan how to properly draw a dick on his face. Because he didn't know how. And he was like, I was instructing him like how to draw the shaft. That was a really funny like behind the scenes moment that I found out. I was like, I wish I was on this movie set, like just to be like getting coffee. Like it just seemed like it was so fun.
Yeah.
Like everyone got along and it was like really cool. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt posted a photo of all of them together for, it must have been the 20th reunion. It was like all of them, like Larissa Olenek, also Larissa Olenek, aka Bianca of Secret World of Alex Mack. If anyone watched that Nickelodeon show, which was fucking dope. Did you ever see that?
No, but
oh my god, that was the best show on Nickelodeon.
Oh my gosh.
She could turn herself, like she could change her molecular structure. So she could like turn herself into a puddle and like seep into all these places and like show up, and she solved mysteries. It was really fucking cool.
Gabrielle Union was in Bring It On, and that was like my introduction to her, and she was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And newsflash, she's like almost 50 and looks exactly the goddamn same.
Damn.
Like exactly the same. Like it's crazy. I think she's one of those girls who has played high schoolers for like 15 years.
That's a gift.
Yeah, no, but she definitely did. Like she was 27 in this film.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, she was just like Dee in Clueless. Dee was like 26.
Wow.
Yeah, like it just like she got those good genes, man.
Yeah, for real.
That's crazy. Let's see. Oh yeah, so they're using Joey as a backer, and I also wrote, I love all the rumors about Patrick. But like, it just reminds me of when Marilyn Manson had all those crazy rumors about the fact that like took his ribs out so he could blow himself and like killed a cat and all this crazy shit. And like, I love all the rumors about him where they're like, don't even look at him. He just did a year in San Quentin. He lit a state trooper on fire, and like it's just all these like just different crazy things. And then they're like, I heard he ate a lot. And then like Joey's like, how about Patrick? And he's like, I heard he ate a live duck once. He's like, everything but the beak and feet. Like it's like there's always these crazy rumors about him because I guess he just moved there. So it's like the new guy, which I thought was really funny. So then I love how Joey approaches Patrick, and Patrick's just like, what the fuck? This guy's such a loser. And then I love when he's like, okay, you want me to take out that girl? And he's like, yeah, $15. or like or $20. And I was
Yeah.
like, 20? And he's like, all right, fine. Let's think about this. We'll go to the movies. That's $15. I was like, okay, movies for $15 for two people. This is 1999, people. This is 1999 because now it's like 15 for one ticket.
Yep.
So, and then he's like, she'll want popcorn. That's 53. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it just like ramped up. But he's like, and then she's gonna want Raisinets. Oh, that's like $75. And he's like, $75? He's like, yeah. And then he just goes down to like 50. He's like, $50 and we have a deal. Fabio. Like, okay. And then I love when he first meets her and he's just like, hey there, girly. He just like, screams at her. And she's like, hey. And he's like, yeah. And trying to like talk to her. And she's like, no. I'm like, this is me. This is me. Anyone approaches me. But why the fuck would you say no to Heath Ledger? But of course you're in high school and you don't know it's Heath Ledger.
Yeah. I one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the paintball date that they go on. I truly, like, to this day, I want to go on a date like that. That is a dream date.
I think I texted you yesterday that I would get married at this paintball place.
Yes, that is a great place for some holy matrimony.
Yeah. For some holy matrimony. Totally. Then we get to, okay, they're going to go to Bogey's party. And Bogey's party, this is what makes me really miss, like, the 90s, like, sans social media. Because, like, I miss these parties when it was, like, no cameras. Everyone's just fucking ripped, crazy. I love that house that guy has, like castle-y, like rich house, super cool. And then of course it gets crashed, and everyone. And of course, I love also one of my favorite like mood pictures is when they throw the flyers up when Michael like changes the ads, and then also someone put one of your songs in to that mix with the Air song, isn't it? Like it's an Air song, right?
Yeah. So like a while ago, ID Vice did a article written by Nick Fulton about what songs today would be in 10 Things I Hate About You, because the soundtrack, and this is a great intro to start talking about soundtrack. What would play today, and
I wonder what.
Yeah, and so for that iconic moment where they throw the flyers, they chose a Deadmate song that would go there. And another one that they that I thought was just so perfect was when Kat is dancing on the table at the party.
I know.
They said Kendrick's "Humble" would be playing, and I said yes.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be good. That's definitely the best part when she's dancing on that table.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I wrote underneath that, Kat is me when I drink tequila. Completely, like 100%. I'm totally like that bad. Like I'm bad. And then I love after like Patrick like takes care of her, she's drunk, whatever. And I love that he drives her home, and I love that conversation in the car that they have where she's like, I want to start a band and I want to like piss off my dad. And he's like, well, why don't you? Like, what's wrong with that? And, and he's like, oh, like, I know everyone loves your sister, but like, like she's without. And then like, I love how he doesn't kiss her too.
Yeah.
You think that he's the kind of guy who'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm getting paid. But I feel like pretty soon after you find out about the deal, you can tell that he likes her.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, it doesn't feel very forced, like, oh shit, I'm just dating this girl for like money. Like you can tell pretty quick that he likes her and he's just using Joey at this point. Like he's just getting money,
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really cool. And then
that is the hard part. That was like a scene that I don't like in the movie, is just like that there's just so much of a misunderstanding through the secrets and the deals. Mm-hmm. Because you can obviously tell that Patrick likes Kat, and that moment where he's being a genuine person, doesn't want to kiss her, like while she, I think he wants to kiss her when it's like the right time.
Yeah.
And she takes offense to that when it's like, it's the opposite.
Yeah, he doesn't, and she's drunk. Like he doesn't want her to not remember or, do something out of complete, like you're not thinking. Like if he really, that obviously proves that he really likes her. Because if
Yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't care, he would have been like, "Oh, whatever," like I'm
Mhm.
gonna take this opening and do whatever I want. And then also you see Cam and Bianca come back, and I wrote they're so sweet when he drives her home, and then they finally
Yeah.
kiss in the car, and then she leaves, and he's like, "I'm back in the game." I'm like, "Oh, he's so cute." And then
Oh.
and after that point is when Kat is mad at Patrick because she's embarrassed and she like
Mhm.
doesn't want to talk to him anymore. And then that's when we get like, he asks the guys like, "What do I do? She's not talking to me." And that's when he's like, you have to like even the score. Like she's been embarrassed. Like you need to put yourself out there. And that's when we get that iconic scene of Patrick like dancing outside the soccer field.
And his voice is just like it's
Oh,
so beautiful and perfect.
I love it. I
And
love
like
it so
what
much.
an incredible just way to tell someone that you like them. It was just that's like the most teenage movie, thing you can do. And
I
they did it perfectly.
It's so good. I loved it. And then after that is like they go to detention, they get out, and that's when we have the paintball scene, which is like one of the best when they're like, "Oh, they've kissed, they're together now." And then of course when they get back to the house after paintball, and then he's like, "Go to the prom with me." And she's like, "I don't know. I'm not sure." And he's like, "Come on, go with me." And then she immediately like questions his motive. She's like, "Why are you pushing so bad? Like that's not my thing." And then it's the only time you kind of see him turn where he gets super defensive.
Yeah, he pulls
Like,
out a
really,
cigarette.
yeah, and he's just like, why are you questioning me? Like, I just want to go with you. I just want to be with you. And then she's like, and yeah, then he pulls out a cigarette, and I was like, oh God. I was like, but he's getting paid. This is terrible. I was like, why doesn't he just tell her now? Like, but I guess, yeah, it'd be worse, I guess, too. But I mean, not that it would ever be a good time to find that out, like you're getting paid to date someone, but it fucking is crazy. Um, and then Bianca, she wants to go to the prom too. I love how she asked her dad, and I wrote, they have a hot tub on the second floor where his like exercise thing is. I was like, that hot tub looks sweet.
Yeah.
Off the bedroom, like that's super nice. And then after that, one of my favorite scenes too is we get the heart to heart between Bianca and Kat. And she kind of says like, Bianca's like, like I really want to go to prom, and it's just not fair because you don't feel like it, and you just don't want to, I want to go with I guess it's like Joey asked her, I think,
Hmm.
but I know she wants to go with Cameron. And that's when you get Kat saying like, look, I went out with Joey. And then she, tells her like, we slept together. It was really fucked up. And that's when you find out she's like, it was after mom left. She was like, I was really like pissed off about everything. So she didn't die. The mom didn't die. And also I think when Kat wants to go to Sarah Lawrence, the dad says like, is this because of your mother? Like, why are you punishing me that you want to leave?
Yeah.
And then she's like, aren't you punishing me because mom left?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like the mom is left, which is also very rare in shows. It's usually the mom, it's usually the dad that leaves. So it's really interesting that they have that, they have the dad, that the dad is
Yeah.
raising these two teenage girls, which is definitely not easy. I mean, it's not easy for anyone to have one parent, but it's definitely different when they're a different gender. It's like a
Totally.
totally different vibe.
Like, and like just like how does a father relate to two teenage girls?
Yeah, especially when he knows the teenage boy and the teenage boy's brain,
Yeah.
like that's what he's trying to protect them from, but he's just being a really good dad. He seems like a really fucking awesome dad. And
Yeah. Even if he's hard ass, he's trying to protect them. And I love the scene where he makes Bianca wear the belly.
I know. It's so funny. And then Patrick's like, who knocked up your sister? Which is so funny. Then they go to prom, and then I wrote, OMG, Save Ferris. I was so obsessed with Save Ferris because what happened with Save Ferris was, do you know them? Do you
um
know that band?
so I did not know the band until 10 Things.
Okay, so Save Ferris, Monique Powell is the lead singer of Save Ferris. I always had like, if you listen to, okay, their album Modified is like, oh God, it's fucking amazing from start to finish. They are like what I wanted No Doubt to still be. Like they were
Oh,
very
okay.
big in the ska scene. She's got an incredible voice like Gwen, but they kind of, when No Doubt kind of went a more I guess, electronic and poppy route in like
Mhm.
Return of Saturn. Save Ferris was like always fucking ska. Like they're a ska band and they are so sick and there's so many great songs on. I mean, they had a cover. "Come On Eileen" was their first single, but the album Modified was just so good. And I remember seeing, and that must have come out like that year or the year before. And I remember seeing them in the movie, and I was like, oh my god, Save Ferris. Monique Powell too was curvy, which was like a big thing too.
Mhm.
That she was just like another like awesome female fronted band that I was like, fuck yeah. Letters to Cleo, another one.
Yeah,
Big
Letters to
Letters to
Cleo.
Cleo fan. That Club Skunk place looked really cool. Where
Oh
she,
yeah, and it was just like a bunch of women.
yeah, and like a few guys sprinkled around, and I love how he's like, they're no bikini killer raincoats, but they're pretty good. She's like, you know who the raincoats are? And he's like, yeah. And I love when they do that description, like she likes feminist prose, Thai music, and angry girl music of the indie rock persuasion.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. And then I love how she like I think Cameron's like, oh wait, so do you think she's like, and then she's like, a Katie Lang fan? No. I found a picture of Jared Leto in her room, so I'm pretty sure she's not gay. And he's like, okay, so that's who she likes, like pretty guys. Like I love that he recognizes him as a pretty guy.
I also love when Bianca tells Cameron that she has black underwear and that it means that she wants to have sex.
I know. And then he tells Patrick, like, she has a pair of black underwear, if that helps.
Yeah.
Like, get her, right? Like, oh my god. I'm like, they were like cotton briefs. Like
Yeah.
they were not like fancy Victoria's Secret like lace, or it wasn't anything crazy. Like, so it's so funny. And then I wrote, Joey's clothes are so awful at prom, the white suit.
Oh god, the white suit.
So bad. And then I wrote, okay, he called her favorite band in as a favor, sealed and signed. Like,
yeah, for real.
yeah, like how amazing. And then I wrote, Bianca's friend's a bitch, of course, because of course the black friend has to be a bitch. And she has to steal Joey. So it's another like horrible stereotype.
I feel like that also, it just like it didn't even fit with the friend's personality. Like
No.
the friend has just been like there and nice the whole time, and then they pull that.
Well, she did leave with Joey at the party. Remember when Bianca
that's true. She did leave at the party.
And then she's like, I don't have to be home till 2. And then she leaves with her. And then she's like,
that's
Cassidy.
true.
And then she's like, hey, you passed. And then she like, but he still goes after Bianca after that. So I was like, okay, that's super weird. But yeah, but it just really sucks how they always make like the best black friend like bitchy.
Yeah,
I mean,
unnecessary.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to get away with that now.
No, I mean, definitely not. But 1999 does not a long time ago, but a long time ago. And then I wrote, Kat finds out. Okay, now Kat's finding out about the fact that Patrick's getting paid. Here's my question to you: would you ever forgive someone if this was a real situation? Would you ever forgive him?
I mean, if it's not Heath Ledger, like I don't know.
Yeah, not Heath Ledger. I mean, like Joe Schmo from high school.
I feel like it is something where, can you forgive, someone like that's humiliating, having, you be the type of person that like the only way that you could be loved is by, a bet or a deal or being paid. Mm-hmm. But I guess it all depends on the circumstance. If it was something where this person, like, because I think, in this scenario, Heath Ledger, Patrick is really saying, like, I think he truly feels sorry and he really does like her. Mm-hmm. It was just a bad way of starting something. But I don't know. I don't know if I could forgive that.
I don't know either. And I think the worst part about it, which is what Kat says, was that like, she's like, I knew this was a setup, that you were paid to go out with me by the one person that I truly hate. The fact that it was Joey behind it is, I think, the worst, because when she hears that Joey comes over and he's like, hey, what's going on? I didn't pay you to take out Kat so that she could leave me with some loser. The fact that it's Joey is the worst part, because she went out with Joey and he dumped her because she had sex with him and she didn't want to anymore. Like, that's what the worst part of it was. I mean, it would have been bad if it was like some other guy in the class who did this, mm-hmm. but the fact that it's someone that she knew. and
Yeah.
like that she had a history with. I feel like that just made it even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I wrote like the sisters are together again, like they're friends again, and she's going out with Cameron now. And then at the end, you get when she reads her famous poem, which about Patrick, that she did for class. This reminds me so much of My So-Called Life. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
The first couple episodes.
There's an episode in the end where Jordan writes this letter to Angela, and it's like the most beautiful letter you've ever heard. Like it's just incredible, and the way that it's shot, it reminds me so much of that. It's like this almost the same exact vibe that like these people are writing. But I love that scene. I'm sure that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's definitely on one of my favorites. It's just so that's really cool to know that like those tears were not in the script.
Yeah, I know.
That's really cool because I had no idea.
I know, I didn't either. I thought
So
it was pretty
sweet.
cool. And then at the end, you see that he gets her a guitar. Is that a cool guitar?
That is such a cool
friend?
guitar.
Sweet.
Wait, let me Google a picture of that guitar.
Is it a Strat? Is that what they said?
That would be really great for Kat Stratford.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Because it was that like wasn't it like a white cream green color?
Cream. Yeah, it was like an off-white. Yeah, it was really cool.
It was so pretty. Yeah, and she's just playing it. Yeah, when she's in the shop with her little headphones on.
It's like, oh my god.
And he gets it for her.
And then she's like, you can't buy me a guitar every time you screw up. And he's like, yeah, but there's always drums and bass and like a tambourine.
See, to me, that's a reason to forgive him.
I was gonna say, yeah, the fact that he did that, I mean, kind of puts him, the fact that he used the money and he was like, this asshole paid me a lot to take out this really great girl. I was like, okay, cool. So you've used the money to buy me something. I feel a little bit better now. It's something that you know that I wanted.
Yeah.
And you know, you saw me with, like, so that makes a lot. And then Letters to Cleo on the Roof, like, best fucking ending ever. I love how it just pans up and then you just,
I want you to want me. That's and I think that was a great song for this movie because it's it really shows, I think, kind of like Kat's whole, misunderstood feeling. Like I think she just genuinely wanted Heath Ledger or Patrick to love her. And that's what ends up happening.
I know, it's so cute. And then they're really funny outtakes at the end too. Like during the credits, which I really like a lot.
Oh man, I don't remember those.
Oh, you have to watch when you watch past Letters to Cleo, like after they play, and you keep watching, and there are all these really funny clips. Like there's funny clips of like Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles in the car, and you can see it's on a track, and like the director's back seat, and like pops up, and they're all like, ah, like it's really cool. There are lots of really funny ones. It's really funny.
Nice.
And then let's see. So with theme and mood, I don't have much. I just have like I love the school building. I'm obsessed with that building, and I love the house, the Stratford house, and like, their farmhouse, and I love their rooms too. Like
their rooms are huge.
Yeah, they're really cool. And then the flyers shot when they throw the flyers. I like that. I
want to talk about the fashion in this movie.
Yes, and we talked about the music. So fucking cool. Yeah, fashion. Let's go. What's your favorite?
So I think my favorite outfits are Bianca's.
Oh,
and the reason why is there is this actually no, you know what? I'm going to because I'm thinking of Bianca in this scene. I'm trying to find a picture. I should have gotten it up a little bit earlier, but there is a scene where Bianca is walking outside. She's like walking outside of school, and her and her friend are like wearing the cutest outfits. And there's this tank top. It was like such a iconic tank top, but I have no idea if there's a like key word for the style tank top that she is wearing. One second, I'm gonna find it. But I really do love Bianca's clothes. I think the reason why I really want to use her as my favorite is I love her prom dress. I love that it was the high-waisted hot pink skirt. Like that to me was just like, that was my favorite. I really didn't really like Kat's prom dress. I wasn't a fan.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't like that either. I wrote baby tees even in a prom dress. Bianca, there's tons of baby tees throughout this entire film.
Yeah, I love a good baby tee. Those are my favorite. Oh wait, is this a picture? This is actually so like Gabrielle wears the tank top in the actual 10 Things I Hate About You promo photo.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's this gold and teal tank top.
Yeah.
And you would see that everywhere in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I have still been trying to get my hands on one. I really want one.
Van Gogh.
Yeah, it was like, I wish anyone listening who knows like fashion terms, if anyone knows like the style of this like fabric tee that was very popular in the 2000s, it's got to come back.
It has to, right?
Yeah, and I just remember that scene where they're walking in school and she's wearing it, and I was like, "Oh, I need this shirt."
I know, it's so 90s too. It's like the print too. It's like you can remember like that shirt. Bianca has another shirt on when she's getting ready to go sailing with Cameron, and it has like Asian. I don't know if it's Chinese. I'm not sure what language it is, but it has like a bunch of different characters on it, and it's like yellow and blue, like that. I remember that shirt. Like I remember seeing that shirt in the mall and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, that!" Like I actually know that shirt. It's really funny. I like Kat's clothes. I like her. Everything is midriff in this film. Like everything is like kind of short, but everything's like Kat wears tons of midriff stuff. She has those black platform flip flops that like everyone had, those foam ones. And she has like regular ones too. But my favorite outfit of the entire fucking movie is when Patrick goes to Club Skunk and he has on those gray vinyl pants.
Yes,
that's
those
it.
are amazing.
Men in vinyl pants, I have a weakness for. Like I love it. I love it. And they were like baggy too. They weren't like baggy, but they weren't like crazy like Motley Crue tight.
Yeah, they weren't form-fitting.
Yeah, they were like nice, like breathable. They were like comfortable. I love it. I love his outfits too. Always wearing just like nothing with logos. It's all solid. Even no prints either. Like
and his shirts are always just like perfectly like they're fitted. They're fitted shirts, which I really like.
And like V-necks, which is really cool.
I think Cameron's fashion is really cute and endearing. Like it's very baggy, very like very just like typical like 90s boy.
It's very regular, yeah.
Yeah, and
Joey,
I think
God.
Joey's just a whole other can of worms.
He dresses like he's in like the International Mail catalog.
Yeah, and then another scene, just like a fashion scene that I think is really funny, is when he's asking Bianca to give her opinion on if he should use the photo with the black shirt or the white shirt.
And they're like the same.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing, and like also like the posing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he does the same thing. Yeah, the posing. It's so funny. Yeah. Do you have any other fashion notes?
It was really that shirt. I was really hoping. I really hope someone comments on it because
they're trying to find it now.
But I also think just a little shout out to Kat's friend. Is it Mandela?
Mandela. So weird that we like barely know her.
We barely know her. She's not in it too much other than, she has the secret admirer that, is being called William, like William Shakespeare, and it ends up being Michael. But Mandela, she has a really cool fashion sense. Like you can definitely tell that she's a lot like Kat, and she does, cool things with her hair. She like has this one where I think she had like chopsticks or like buns in her hair. And she has a cool sense of style too. And she's, I feel like she's kind of like forgotten about in like the main storylines, but I like her clothes.
Yeah, she's in the same as like Gabrielle Union. I feel like they're both like those friends that are like in like two scenes, but Gabrielle Union's in a lot more than Mandela is.
Yeah.
But I like how she ends up with Michael.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute. I was like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So what are your favorite scenes?
Favorite scenes would definitely be Paintball,
Yeah.
iconic sonnet moment.
Hmm.
I really love the moment where Cameron is trying to learn French. Like he does not know French, but he is going to learn French for Bianca. Another scene that I like really love, but I think is really sad, is when Cameron says to Bianca, "You never wanted to go sailing with me, did you?"
Oh yeah.
I've been in that. I've been in that scenario before, where like I've really wanted to like go to a show with someone or something. Like I someone that I like really had a crush on or something, and they said, "Oh yeah, like yeah, we can do that," but and it never happened. And like being like, "You didn't want to do this with me," like that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I don't know about, that's just such a like soft scene for me.
And he also says, like, just because you're beautiful, you can't treat people like they don't matter.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I was like,
that's
oh,
such a good quote.
I was like, I'm so sad.
What
I
about
have the
you,
same ones.
Lauren?
I have paintball. My favorite scene in the whole film, I think, is Kat dancing at the party to Notorious
Yes.
B.I.G. Like, that's just so iconic. And then when she crashes into Joey's car, and then Patrick dancing and singing. I think it's all like the dancing and singing moments that I like.
Yeah, the dancing and singing moments are the best.
Yeah, those are my favorite. And then my other favorite is like when he buys her the guitar at the end. I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's such a sweet part.
I
Yeah,
love how it ends.
really all of the genuine like vulnerability moments are like really my favorite, and I think that's what makes this movie like better than a lot of like teen movies, is there's so many earnest and vulnerable moments
Yeah,
that like really
totally.
sets it apart from other teen movies.
Yeah, totally. It's completely. It also has really good moments of drama, and it's like equally like dramatic and comedy too. So I really like it.
Oh yeah, yeah, the comedy is great in this
Yeah,
movie. Like
it still holds up. It's still so
yeah,
funny.
it was written so wonderfully, and that's really interesting knowing that the writers also did Legally Blonde, which
Another
was
great one.
another one that I still feel holds up to this day.
Totally. It was on TV yesterday. And like every time it's on TV and I pass by it, I'm like, oh, I love this movie. Another good soundtrack too.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
And,
good
like,
soundtrack.
yeah, really good. Like a lot of female fronted bands on there. It's really good. I don't have any worse scenes. I mean, all the worst scenes I could think of were just the ones where like you find out horrible things. Like when you find out that Joey slept with Kat and then just like dumped her. Like that was pretty fucked. And then you just find out like, when she finds out that it's a bet. Like I was like, oh
Yeah, that I think that's like the worst scene in my eyes too. Is like, God, that's just gotta feel horrible.
yeah, like I couldn't even imagine. Like it's just ugh. Yeah, it's just like so bad.
Yeah.
What
Well,
quotes do you have?
oh gosh, I didn't write down any quotes. I feel like I already said all the ones
Oh,
that I
okay. I
love.
have just three. I have "Where did you come from, Planet Loser?" Like that, but I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to name the episode. And then one of my other favorite, I want to name it the episode. This one, I have a dick on my face, don't I?
Yes.
That was really good. And then
And the way that he's just so bleak about
yeah,
it.
it's like my favorite. And then I just have like you don't always have to be who they want you to be. I like that.
Yeah, that one's
Really
really great. Oh, those are such great quotes. Thank you. I'm glad that you wrote some down because it's
yeah,
such a quotable movie. I don't know why I didn't write some down.
really is. I was like, I was like, I don't even know. There's so many different ones. But and then my '90s moments, I only have like house parties and films, like that's super '90s,
Mhm.
and then that Real World Seattle clip because I watched the Real World Seattle when Bianca's in her room, and then it's like David and Nathan from the Real World Seattle. If anybody watched that season, and I was like, oh, they're in Seattle, and it was out like at that time. Like that's the time that Seattle Real World was on.
Mhm.
So that was super '90s, and I was like, oh, I miss the real world, like the real world, like the old ones. Like they were so
Yeah,
good.
I feel like when I look back on like most '90s moments of the movie, it's definitely just how everyone was dressing. Like to me, like I feel like it's just like a constant, just like glimpse of it throughout the movie.
Totally. It's that
It's always,
awkward phase. It was the awkward phase of us moving out of like the mid '90s, late '90s into the 2000s, which was like a hot mess. So like
Yes.
it's like starting to kind of go like, huh? Like,
I am very nervous because so just through trends, I feel like we just went through like the 80s, early 90s style being
mhm.
super hip, which to me kind of pisses me off because as a kid, I wore some, unattractive high waisted pants and was like ridiculed for it. And then just like seeing kids just like wearing it all the time and being super cute and like, it's just like a very popular thing. I was like, you don't even know
No, like they
apparel.
it's so, and also it sucks too because now kids have fucking online and they can buy like all this crazy shit. Like I had to go buy stuff in the store or like on a catalog.
Yeah, and
Like,
if you didn't live in a trendy place, like, or in a city, like, you're not gonna find that in the stores, you know.
no. Or like you have to go to like I had the Delia's catalog.
Uh-huh.
And like that's what I would circle everything I wanted. And they had like Alloy. They had all these like really weird like 90s teen catalogs that I would be like, oh mom, I want to get this. Like,
Yeah, I forgot about catalogs. That was
yeah,
a thing,
it
and
was like the OG internet.
I have a feeling this midriff, the early late '90s, early 2000s, we're gonna see a reoccurrence. It's coming up. I'm starting to see it with like hair trends.
The low rise jeans.
Yeah, the low rise jeans. I need to start working out
No, I was
because
gonna say this was pre-COVID. I think now that COVID has happened, I don't know about this low rise jean thing. It'd be a bit of a struggle. I feel like because people are like at home. Definitely had Doritos last night.
yeah, I may
Definitely
have eaten 4 cupcakes.
cupcakes. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come back. I think these styles that we are seeing, which I am hoping, maybe I need to bring it back. Maybe I need to find a place to find Chastity's tank top that
Yeah,
she wears because it is. I'm all for that look coming back.
we
But
are on the hunt. I should post a photo on Insta stories and be
oh my
like,
gosh,
"Yo, if
if
you see this
anyone,
shirt, like, send it over. Send it over to
yes,
I'm Done Mate."
please, because since I've seen that movie, that's the only like I have been on the hunt for that shirt.
We'll have to
It's
find
just so
it.
cute. But yeah, well, I'm so glad we got to talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
I'm so
10
excited.
things.
As always, people like and subscribe. I forgot to say it in the beginning. Leave a 5-star review on Apple. Do all you can. Share it with your friends. I know people are gonna like this one. I think this is a sleeper, not a sleeper movie, but I feel like it's a film a lot of people really like. So
Yeah, and if you like this one, please tell us what other movies that are
yeah,
kind
I
of in
need
the
to do
same vein
another.
that you would like us to talk about.
Yeah, I need another poll. I've actually already decided that the next film that we do, the three of us, the three girls do together, me, Jules, and Jai, we're gonna talk about Hype. Have you ever seen Hype, the documentary on grunge? Like the
No, but I am so
that's
excited.
what
Let's
we're gonna
go
do because
there.
we're gonna bring you grunge people. We've been doing movies for a while, so we're gonna bring another music documentary into the fold, and we're also gonna do another Women in Rock 2000s edition coming
Oh, I'm so
soon
excited for both of
too.
these.
Yeah, so
Yay.
we're gonna
Stay
inject some
tuned.
music in. Yeah, and stay tuned. Totally.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for having me.
Totally. Thanks for doing this. It's so fun.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. We'll see you on the next one.